Record.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order and start with the roll call. Um, Commissioner Davis, Dr.
Here.
Keith
Yep.
Davis, uh,
I'm sorry, forgot.
Dr. Crystal Davis,
Present.
Dr. McRoy,
Present.
Dr. New.
Present.
This is great. I do not have any opening comments. We can go straight to the executive director's update or to new business, whichever you prefer. Executive Director Nell.
Hello, this is Director Nell. So, for the sake of time, for the sake of Dr. Trent Davis, who will have to leave early, perhaps we can skip. Well, I will at least do my director update because, as it is in the agenda, it talks a little bit about money that I have spent, and so since that ties into the question of the budget committee, I think I will go ahead and talk about the money that I have spent. By way of reminder, when we passed our most recent bylaws, we really did deal with this notion of having a budget committee that would work with the executive director to have eyes on the money that is spent. I think that is an excellent job because before that, there was nothing anywhere in print that said that anyone had that I had any responsibility as executive director to tell you guys anything about money that I'm spending. So to that, if you have the agenda in front of you, I printed a save the date that was distributed to all of the legislators and to various people for the Martin Luther King program. That was $119. And also the program flyer that was distributed on that day was $119. That day we had the Highland Park ROTC come. And so since it was over essentially their lunch hour, I bought them lunch and a case of water. So that was $83. Then I have restocked the stylus pins and like I have these little things that I, take with me when we've seen these. I restocked those and that was $263 for the pins, for 500 pins, and $365 for 500 Post-it notes. Interestingly enough, I think I'm going to ask them to reprint them because they were not, I just got them in the mail today and they were not of high quality. And I'm like, I don't want these. So we may have to do some massaging, which, as you note, it comes up to $950.72. Now, in our bylaws, I can spend up to $1,000 and not tell you. And then after that, the executive director should report, or at least, discuss it with the commission. The commission should have input. I do not anticipate spending any other money until perhaps if the commission were to sponsor a Juneteenth program in June. The complete bill for the Black Legislative Day is going to be footed by the Black Leadership Council and fundraising that KBLC is undertaking. It is not going to impact KAAC's budget or the state general fund in any way, shape, or form. Our contribution is mainly the blood, sweat, and tears of myself and other members of the commission to just get the thing done. But it's not any financial burden on KAAC. So that's it. The other executive director report, as per the statute, and quite frankly, as per the executive branch is trying to tie up loose ends, I have already publicly noticed all of the meetings that are going to take place in 2025. They are up on Public Square now. That's it for me.
This is the chair. Should we have a discussion about these quarterly reports that are also a new part of our operations this year?
Well, perhaps. I mean, if we're going to continue to go through the new business, I would like to introduce the new commissioner. If we're going to just maybe we're just going to make it through real quick.
Yeah,
it's just pretty much.
Absolutely.
So we do have a new commissioner, Dr. Crystal Davis. She joins us from Junction City, Kansas, and I would love to give Dr. Crystal Davis an opportunity to introduce herself.
Here.
Thank you, Stacy, and good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see everyone. I've taken the time to start my study and research on each of you and the efforts. And Dr. New, it's lovely to see you again. Last time I saw you and met you for the first time was in Junction City. here when you were running. So congratulations on that. And so I have been having conversations with Stacy, went through the interview process with the folks at the state, and received my oath paperwork this week. So I'm really excited to join the team and get to work. So I'm just, doing onboarding stuff and also just researching the district, things that you all have done, and excited about what we'll do moving forward. So thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Such esteemed people. I feel very honored to be in the group.
Yeah, we should each say a little bit about ourselves. Would you like to start, Stacy?
Yeah, hello. I'm Stacy, now the executive director.
And you are.
I've been in this position since 2021, and my background, my professional background, as I was a math teacher. I taught high school math and middle school math in the Kansas City, Kansas public school district. Before that, I was a sign language interpreter in the Blue Springs school district out at Blue Springs, Missouri. So my most of my professional background has been either as a sign language interpreter or a math teacher. I do have two children and married. I have a dog. His name is Twix. So that's pretty much that's me in a nutshell. Yeah, I've been in this position since 2021. So that's kind of
And how about Dr. Trent with the red, black, and green on the wall? I like that.
I didn't realize that until we started the meeting. I said, well, I wonder if these folks are old enough to remember when those flags were everywhere. But yeah, flag's been there for in this house in that same spot for the last 23 and a half years.
Oh.
I am my day job is a physician. I'm a neurologist of seizures, strokes, and headaches, and all that other stuff. I'm currently on the Salina City Commission. Was mayor of Salina a couple of years ago, and teach at the medical school here in Salina. The fun, rewarding stuff is this. It doesn't pay any bills, but it's fun and rewarding. And 5 kids, a bunch of grandkids coming along. So stuff that's going on in the world now, I'm really paying attention to more for their benefit than mine. Boy, there's a lot of talent around this screen here. But welcome, Dr. Davis, and look forward to working with you.
Dr. McRoy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Welcome, Dr. Davis. Very nice to meet you. Jonathan McRoy, I'm originally from Miami, Florida, born and raised. I served in the United States Air Force for 20 years and 28 days, retired July 31st of 2021. Worked at the Kansas Leadership Center for a little bit, doing some leadership development and business development. And then I went over to Textron Aviation to do organizational development and be a part of the HR team there. From that point, I transitioned, and I've been here at Goodwill now for the last almost a year. And so a little bit about my professional background. I have a daughter, she's 8. And yeah, so welcome to the team and to the group. Excited to have you. Thank you.
Awesome. Dr. New.
Well, good afternoon, Dr. Davis. It's wonderful to know that you're joining this commission. I know you're going to bring a lot of wonderful strengths to KAAC. And as you said, we have met before. I'm excited to work with you a little bit more. You probably heard my spiel when I was down in Junction City, but I am an educator, retired after 35 years as a high school English teacher and a high school administrator. And then my last job with Topeka Public Schools was as the HR director for certified staff. I continue to work with them on a consulting basis, working with our Equity Council. That's a type of work that really has been my life mission. I have 8 children and 13 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild, and spending time with them when I'm not running around doing other non-retired things has been my joy for the last couple of years. So glad to have you working with us, and definitely look forward to seeing you quite a bit.
Hi, Dr. Davis. I'm Mark McCormick. I'm the chair. Stacy and I were just in Junction City for MLK Day. and it was my first trip there. I have a good friend from there that you probably know, Kevin Wilmot.
Yes.
Um, a lot of my one of some of my friends have been in his movies.
Mhm,
Like a couple of my good buddies. One of my good buddies was in Ninth Street,
mhm,
and he was in Destination Planet Negro.
mhm.
Both of those. But I was a journalist for my first career. I worked here. I was the religion writer in Louisville, Kentucky for many years. When journalism began to dry up local journalism, I ran the Kansas African American Museum for 6 years. And then I moved to the ACLU of Kansas to do that work. And then I left there last year, and I'm now the executive director of the Kansas Black Leadership Council um, and chair of KAAAC. So, anything else anyone would like to add?
I should say I have a son.
Oh,
He is a junior, but he is pushed ahead because I also serve as an adjunct instructor in the business department at Cloud County Community College. I think we're approaching year 7. And so because he's been able to attend there free during the summer and winter, he will graduate from Bethany 1 year early this May and start his graduate work. And I'm now taking care of his cat that he was
oh,
supposed to have on campus. And now it's my cat. Anyway,
yeah, I
thank you.
neglected. I raised 4 boys. My oldest baby is in the Navy.
Okay.
Um, my middle baby is a bodybuilder who works at a supplement store. He's an assistant manager at a supplement store. And then my twins, I have one twin who works in the Kansas City Public Schools in the City Year program. And then his older brother by 12 minutes uh,
Mhm.
is working now, saving money so he can start at Johnson County Community College in the summer session.
Yeah, nice. I'm a twin as well, so it's already a lot in common.
Yeah.
Educators, twins, animals. Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah, very cool. Uh, so Executive Director Nell, your other new business.
Right. So the one thing that I wanted to discuss, and while Dr. Trent Davis is here, is to consider the meeting cadence schedule and time, those types of things. Just, we're in a new year, so we can always revisit. Is this time is the first Friday at 1:30 actually a good time, or should we change that? And then to put people on the budget committee. And I know, Dr. Trent, you had expressed interest in being on the budget committee. In the agenda, I had copied, pasted what the bylaws state about the budget committee, that being that they share the management and oversight of the KAAC budget with the executive director. The budget committee may engage in fundraising for reasons agreed upon by the commission. Or the committee will provide a quarterly budget report detailing any money received or spent and the reason for each transaction, which I have started with this, what I spent in January. And that also the budget committee shall have at least one member from each political party represented on KAAC at the time. So that's what the bylaws state in terms of who is on the budget committee. I guess I'm on the budget committee, but I don't have a vote in anything. So it would be up to y'all to decide who would make up the budget committee. The only thing we need to make sure is that there's at least one Democrat and one Republican. Or libertarian, if there was a libertarian on board, that type of situation, we would need to make sure that we're politically balanced.
As the chair, that'll be difficult to do today.
Uh, I would have to honestly, I would have to look up your guys' affiliations to know, because I don't necessarily keep that in my brain. I believe, Mark, you are registered as a Republican.
Yeah,
So
but
well, I mean, this is one of those things that I'm like, yes, commission, what shall we do?
this is the chair again. We have some options. We could simply nominate one of our commissioners or both of our commissioners who are not here today. I would not recommend putting me on that um, on that committee for obvious reasons, and I'd open the floor to any other suggestions. I would add that I believe Commissioner Penn had expressed interest in being on that committee as well. So it wouldn't be like we were, you know, nominating her for something she did not want to do because she was not here. Yes, sir. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, Commissioner Davis here. I was going to take a simpler approach for the rest of us, which was simply have the chair see who's interested, and the chair look through the party affiliations, and the chair do all the work and appoint the committee. But if people would, either way works, but I was just going to yield to the chair's prerogative.
Sure. This is the chair again. So, yeah, who here today would like to serve on that committee? Please, by show of hands. Dr. Davis, Dr. McRoy. No, I'm just messing with you. I like that suggestion, Dr. Davis. I will look through the affiliations and reach out to our commissioners who are not here today. Executive Director Nell, how many people have to serve on that?
I was just looking at that. It doesn't state.
Okay. 2 or 3 should work. I mean,
right. I mean, you know, this is our first meeting really working under the new bylaws. So this we could all we might go, oh, we might want to change this. Like we might want to put in the bylaws. The chair has the appointing authority, or that there's this many people on it. So that's something to consider.
Yeah, I will reach out. This is the chair again. I will reach out to Commissioner Penn. The chair recognizes Dr. McRoy.
This is Commissioner McRoy. Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just wanted a reminder, as we think about these committees, let's make sure that they are not an even, but an odd number to break a tie.
Good suggestion. This is the chair again. How does the commission feel about at least one in-person meeting per calendar year? That has it's been a challenge, to say the least. I'll open the floor to any comments.
As Commissioner McRoy, I'll open up. I think that if we identify a day in the future, it allows us to plan around that and you know, provide for the opportunity for us to meet in Topeka and have those in-person touch points. They are very much of value, I think. And so with that, I yield back.
Yes, Commissioner Davis.
Yes, Commissioner Davis here. I was actually going to suggest 2 in-person meetings a year. Just something you can transact in person that just exceeds what we can do this way, and just a great way. I mean, for all of us are working, even if we're retired, we're still working. But yeah, far enough in advance, you know, I can just block out that day, and no different from going to a football game. You block out a day from work and go.
This is the chair again. Executive Director Nell, do you have any more thoughts about meeting cadence?
No, I just want to make sure that we find a time where everyone feels like they can attend regularly.
Okay. The chair recognizes Dr. New.
Yes, and I just wanted to register my agreement that we definitely should plan an in-person meeting at least once a year.
Good. Our new Commissioner Davis, how do you feel?
Thank you. I am available, and I think one meeting per year in person is definitely needed, and I will block that time to be present. Thank you.
I will noodle around. This is the chair again. I will noodle around on some dates, and if there are dates where you cannot attend, I would like to know those dates as well, and I'll avoid those.
This is Director Nell. By way of a starting point, you could start with which first Friday, because we already have a meeting cadence of the first Friday of every month at 1:30. So if right now you wanted to say the August meeting, that gives several months of lead time or something like that. Although I know right now when I was setting the meetings, the first Friday of July is July 4th. So I have automatically bumped it to the 11th because that is the first Friday. So just so you know, we are not meeting on July 4th.
This is the chair again. So, does that first Friday in August work with those of you who are here?
That was just a for instance. I'm just saying.
No, I think that's a pretty good. Yes, Commissioner Davis.
Commissioner Trent Davis here. That would work for me. I don't know if any of us have kids going to college. Sometimes that's a back to school weekend,
Yeah.
or people's putting in their last minute vacations before school.
In September, we'd run into that too as well. This is the chair. The beginning of September.
Labor Day.
Depending on where Labor Day falls. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Commissioner McRoy, I think it's good to consider maybe the middle of a quarter, not the beginning or end of a quarter. Many of us have closeout things that we have to do that we can't delegate. And so just, something to think about.
I'll take those under advisement. Executive Director Nell, anything else on your under new business that you'd like to discuss?
No. Do you see my Zoom screen?
I can.
So these are where we're at right now. So March 7th, April 4th, May 2nd, June 6th, July 11th, August 1st. So these are already like scheduled. September 5th, October 3rd, November 7th, and December 5th. So those are already like, quote, scheduled, end quote. The Zooms are already there. They're already out on public square. So if you wanted to use any of these days, then it would, yes.
Okay.
So with the exception of the 4th, this is the Friday, I believe, leading into Labor Day. But I'm like, well, I'll leave it. And if you decide to move it, we can move it.
Sounds good. Is there anything else under that heading? Chair recognizes Commissioner McRoy.
Thank you, this is Commissioner McRoy. I'm thinking, so in the future, would it be possible that when we send meeting notices, send them as a calendar invite, but not as an email? That way we just click accept and it automatically goes to the calendar instead of having to write the details of the email and then putting it in the calendar. If we just send it as an invite, bam, it just goes into the calendar.
Did you not get the calendar invite?
I do, but I think I'm trying to, I feel like you do both. I'm trying to make it easy for you. Instead of sending like the notifications, just send it in a calendar invite and then we could accept it. Because I think sometimes you send the emails, but then we get the calendar invites later, but you could just do them all in one if it's easier.
Yeah, that's called me covering my butts. If you sometimes, some of you notice I send the email, I send the calendar invite. Some of you get text messages several times saying, "Are you coming?" Yeah. In an ideal world, I could just put it on your calendar and skip away. But in the reality is that's not how this works. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
This is the chair. Did you have another comment, Commissioner McRoy?
And so, no, that was really my only one. It was just kind of like, hey, and when I look at all these dates, like, or, if we have them all, just send them all out. Send all the dates as calendar invites for all 12 months. Just get them out.
That'd be great.
Yeah, this is
I
the
can do
chair
that.
here. I think that's not a bad idea because my calendar will remind me of these events. However often I want it to. So I think that's a good suggestion. The chair recognizes Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, Commissioner Trent Davis here. I was just looking at my calendar. Labor Day is actually the first of the month. So that 5th would be the weekend, with that Friday after Labor Day. So imagine most people would, if they took a long weekend, would be back. And I think Stacy's comments were very kind to those who are on various sides of the generational fence. Some of us need 2 and 3 different reminders in different media So you're doing very well to massage the egos of all of us here. Thank you.
As the chair, I'll speak as someone who is chronologically gifted, that I certainly appreciate those. Anything else under this topic? Executive Director Nell?
No, I will. We'll just continue with the cadence that's currently posted. I can put all of the meetings on everyone's calendar invites. So you're about to get, 12, you can accept them or not. We can, I will continue to email you the week ahead of time and on the morning, and some of you will receive a text message. So please do not be offended. I can do all of those things. That's not a burden to me at all. And then the last thing on our new business was that the chair will look over the political affiliations and make appointments and reach out to the absent commission member who had expressed an interest in being on the budget committee. I think that's pretty much it for me. Just for the sake of the budget committee, that I'm at $950. Anything else that I would spend, I would try to talk to you guys ahead of time. That would be, and given what's happened in years past, the only thing I would anticipate, this would be TCAM reaching out saying for their Trailblazers, would you like to buy a table? This would be the KCK NAACP saying, would you like to buy an ad? Now we're into the organizations making requests for sponsorship, which I think is perfectly fine if they get to me in some sort of timely manner, that I would be able to make that request. We would not be able to vote on that via email. And I'm not even sure I could email that out on email, because that would be considered doing business. And so that would be subject to open records. I could, I don't know. I might be able to email out, we have this request, but you wouldn't be able to tell me yay or nay.
Mm-hmm.
That would have to be done during a meeting.
There are a couple more things I'd like to get to on the agenda before we lose Dr. Davis. One is, Executive Director Nell, did you want to talk at all about the commission focus?
Yes, and that's one thing I would love to have everyone discuss. The past year has spent with dealing with the suggestions and ramifications of the audit. That was a long process, but I feel like good work was done, and now we have our bylaws. Right now, we don't have necessarily this is what the commission is going to do. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for, especially now with Dr. Crystal Davis joining, to take some time and think, okay, what do we want to do? What area, and I am here to do what you guys come up with. I would love to decentralize this commission. This commission has operated since before I got here, really it has been the Kansas African American Affairs Executive Director. And I'm like looking at this screen of people from around the state thinking this is a very powerful opportunity for this to truly become the Kansas African American Affairs Commission. What do you hear in your communities? What do you think is important for your communities? What's going on in your communities? What should we get involved with? And I can honestly say I am open to suggestion and would love to have you guys figure that out. I don't know if that needs to be something that the commission does, or if it's the two Dr. Davises are out sort of in the Flint Hills area. Maybe there's something that pertains to the Black community in Salina/Junction City. Commissioner Penn and McRoy in Wichita. Like, I don't know if it needs to be divide and conquer. These are the things that I would love for y'all to discuss. Maybe it is that each commissioner has their own special thing that they want to sort of take up, or is it something we take up as a whole? The one time that within my tenure that the commission has done something really well, it dealt with it, unfortunately, with the murder of CJ Lofton, where two commissioners came to me and said we should get involved. And so then the commission sort of took it upon itself to write the letter of support for the commission in Wichita that was investigating and protesting the murder of CJ Lofton. So I'm not saying it has to be criminal justice, because there's a lot of areas. If it's housing, is it juvenile fines and fees? Is it veterans issues, right? Is it we have been
DEI.
approached officially to talk about reparations. So let me do my due diligence and say that there are a group of people in Wichita who think that the commission should be heavily involved in the discussion around reparations. I'm not sure if that's a good use of our time. However, if the commission decides it's a good use of our time, that's what we will do. Perhaps it's there, quite frankly, I have been approached. There is a mural going up in the State House dealing with the first Black regiment of the Civil War.
First Kansas
And
colored.
yes, in for the Brown v. Board mural, which was before my tenure, but KAAC was involved with fundraising. So perhaps KAAC is involved with fundraising for this mural. But again, I really want this to be something that the commission has, whatever the commission does moving forward, that there's buy-in by the commission, that it's not just me saying, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure that has not been successful.
This is the chair. I'd like to weigh in on that a little bit and say that one of the things that I have encouraged is for commissioners to have their own projects for their own constituents. And in the same way that we could be as separate as fingers, but as together as a fist, there ought to be things that we do for our constituents, and then there ought to be things that we agree to do collectively. That's not a command, but that was one of my suggestions, and that's how I intend to move forward. I would love for us to have our own issues with our own constituents, but I would like for us to do some things together. So with that, I'll open the floor to any discussion, but not all at once. That was a joke. I mean, somebody can. Dr. Davis, yes.
Yeah, Commissioner Trent Davis here. One thing that I would love to see us get on paper or electronically is a network. Wouldn't want to call it a Black person's phone book or a net, but a way to disseminate information to our target community. Even in Salina, we have fragments of groups, but no one has the contact information for everyone. And some parts of the town will hear about things, or some groups. It's statewide. I'm sure it's the same issue. We're going to start doing some legislative contact. A lot of people don't know how to contact their legislators, and it's just education. Hey, try it once, and that's all there is to it. Yeah, that's all there is to it. But we need to build our presence, particularly after the comments of our U.S. Senator about our seeming inability to land a plane. And making statements like that without even doing research. But I mean, we need to know how to contact him or those to whom he's influenced, and say, hey, this ain't right. Our being quiet lets people think, oh, okay, I said and did the right thing. Just building an advocacy.
Yeah, this is the chair. I couldn't agree with that more. Our passivity allows those kinds of folk to rule the day. Commissioner McRoy, chair recognizes you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And along Commissioner Trent Davis's same vein, which I think is a great idea, there needs to be, I think, a focus on voter education, because I feel as though the electorate doesn't understand the legislature, the judiciary, the executive, what their powers are and what they can do. Because if we knew that, we would probably go vote. The president can pick someone, but Roger Marshall and Jerry Moran have to vote to confirm. Do we understand those dynamics? We always get mad at the president, but we're not paying attention to legislators, or we're not paying, attention to legislatures, to members of Congress, but we have all the focus on the president. We need to be more educated as an electorate on how government works, so that way we can wield our constitutional privileges in a responsible way. So I yield back. Thanks.
Yeah, this is Chair. I would agree with that as well. All politics are local, and we have so much more leverage locally. I love that idea. Any other ideas? Any other thoughts? Yes, Commissioner New.
Yes, I agree with what I've heard, especially about political awareness. But I think there are some issues that are common across our state among our African American communities. Um, One being maternal health, another being infant mortality rate extremely high. So another, which could become a real issue, is vaccinations for communicable diseases that are now growing, like smallpox, I read this morning. So, does our community really understand how it's impacted by decisions that other people make that are adverse to our well-being? I know many years ago we did have a health initiative related to heart health. I think today there may be some things that we need to make sure every single African American in Kansas is aware. If you don't have Medicaid, where can you go to get the kind of help you'll need for, maternal care and, taking care of a newborn? So I don't know. I could talk about what's prevalent in Shawnee County, but I'm sure, 4 out of the 5 things that might come up are things that are really dire across Kansas. So, I understand that analogy and I think that's strong. We are separate fingers that come together to make a fist. Unfortunately, it looks like these are the times when we got to come out swinging with the fist. Otherwise, we'll be decimated as an entire culture, really, when you look at some of the agendas that are coming forth. Kind of an attempt maybe to erase us from not just history but present. So
Well,
that's
Mr.
my
Chair, I couldn't agree with that more. When you started talking, I immediately thought about the importance of pushing back against this vouchers movement. I think those are designed to destroy public schools. And I also think that because our kids tend to be the majority of kids in these schools, that there's a clear and present danger if we start taking money away from already underfunded schools and schools that are funded unequally. There are dire consequences. And I have heard from a lot of constituents about DEI as well. Those are a couple of issues we could put out there. What I would ask is that we all come back to our next meeting with some ideas, and hopefully we'll have the full complement of the commissioners here that day, and we can make a decision. Any additional thoughts before Executive Director Nell talks about Black Legislative Day? Yes, Executive Director Nell, you're muted.
Dr. Crystal had her hand up.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioner Crystal Davis here. And I'm new and learning. One thing that's top of mind and work that I am doing in the Flint Hills right now, which may or may not align with the commission, is a lot of the challenges that business owners and specifically Black business owners have in the Flint Hills region. So I do work with the Black entrepreneurs of the Flint Hills, and 3 challenges is access to capital, training and resources, and just support around the state of Kansas, with particular organizations in Kansas, one being Network Kansas. That just received $69 million to help entrepreneurs in the state of Kansas. And we are currently discussing and fighting for our 25% as minority owned businesses as a piece of that $69 million. So, not sure if that aligns here. I know it's an issue in the Flint Hills and in specifically, Riley and Gary County. And so I'll just add that to kind of the list of ideas of what others have said here. that I'm just kind of taking note of. Secondly, and I don't know, Commissioner Stacy, if I ask you this or just the commission as a whole, so I'll just ask it as a whole. Some thoughts I have about my beginning work, I think, in this district. So as I said in the beginning, researching the district, the communities, let me just say, and the counties under this district, and how might I go about introducing myself and letting them know I'm on the commission. I'm here to listen. I don't know if there's room or availability for, I don't know, listening sessions, getting a professional letter out to NAACPs in the counties that I now kind of, I don't know, oversee or looking forward to working with so that I may know what the issues are. I know what they are in Gary County. I know what they are in Junction City, Kansas, and a little bit in Riley County due to Black entrepreneurs of the Flint Hills. However, I don't know in Hutchinson. I know there's a large Hispanic community. Other towns, which in my research over the last days in the 22 counties, is it? Anyway, a lot of counties under this district, and African American people who live in those counties. And so I guess I was seeking guidance and thought and discussion about how I find out what the issues are in the counties I'm not familiar with and how I go about doing that. I have a thought about that, but I always want to seek guidance and approval and clarity on how I should do that. Thank you.
As the chair, anything on this subject that we need to? Yes.
My response is, I love it. Okay. Yes. As many times as I've said, please figure out some way to have a town hall.
Don't get scared. I am not going to sing.
I mean, since I got this job, I was like, we need to have town halls. I love it. Yeah. I mean, Dr. Crystal, if you would like to say you'd like to have a town hall, that I feel like that is completely something that was in your purview. And as the executive director, it's my job to help you figure out how to have that happen.
Absolutely.
Right. So to me, that's the commission working in the correct way. The commissioner says, I would like to do this in Hutchinson in order to reach the community. And I go, bet, let's figure it out.
And I will help with that as well, Dr. Crystal Davis. Before we lose Dr. Trent, you want to talk about Black Legislative Day?
Yes, so Black Legislative Day quickly is coming up Monday, February 17th. It's next Monday. It will be from 10 in the morning until effectively like 1:30 in the afternoon at the State House. The governor will be doing a Black History Month proclamation at 12:15. So if it is available to you to attend, that is perfectly fine. As with everything that's not taking place within your town, I'm not requiring you to travel. But if you would like to attend, that's more than fine by me. I have also, because in case you do decide to attend and you are out of Topeka, I have linked in the announcements the YouTube video explaining the travel compensation details. So you can go back and review that as many times as you need to figure out what we need to do in order to make sure that you're compensated for travel. The one main takeaway is that if you would like, let me know, because then I can flag Dawn and we can make sure that we get all of our T's crossed and our I's dotted. So that's the only real announcement briefly. So I know that Dr. Trent can at least hear that.
This is the chair, if there are no other discussions that we need to have, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
I would hate to do that being the one who has to leave, so someone else please do it.
Commissioner McRoy, I move for adjournment.
It's been moved. And seconded. Been moved and seconded. All signify raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
All right. The ayes have it. Thank you, Dr. Crystal Davis, for joining us. It was great to see everyone, great ideas, and we finished in record time today.
No kidding.
Right.
How about that?
I'll talk to you.
All right.